Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Soulfax and welcome to another War Thunder video, and this time we're going to be flying the Ju-87G2 in simulative battles, the Kanonenvogel, the infamous tank buster, the flying can opener, and all the other weird names that you can just come up at the spot. Actually, the can opener thing is a real name, and Kanonenvogel is how they used to call it in World War II. So yeah, but before we start this replay, some of you might be wondering, like, where is War Thunder Weekly? Well, the simple answer to that question is that not a lot of things happened the past week. Like, the only notable thing that happened was, I think, the reduction of the Meteor Mark III, I think. Is it Meteor Mark III? Or one of the meteors, or two meteors, to 7.0 battery instead of 8.0. And that's pretty much it, I think. I really can't remember any other thing that happened the past week, so for that reason and for that reason alone, I didn't make a War Thunder Weekly this week, and the next week will be including all of the changes that happened in the past week, so yeah, it's it's very hard to say that it's a weekly episode, isn't it? But anyhow, some of you that have been following me for some time now might know that I'm a very big fan of the Ju-87 family. I love every single Stuka that is in War Thunder currently, and I am a big advocate of every single ground attacker in the game, because in my opinion, when you fly fighters 24/7, it just gets very boring and it just gets stale. And when you jump into a Stuka or an IL-2 or any other ground attacker in the game, it's just such a breath of fresh air when you're not the best fighter, excuse me, not the best fighter, not the best plane on the battlefield, and when you really need to work for all the kills that you get. But anyhow, recently I've been flying almost nothing but the Ju-87s, and just a couple of weeks ago I've rediscovered this plane, the Ju-87G2. Now the G2 is a very good plane in the proper hands, but unfortunately these hands are not the proper hands, and by these hands I mean my hands, because I am so horrible at this plane. Okay, I might be over-exaggerating, I'm not horrible, I'm just horribly inconsistent, as you will see in this video. Now I'm going to be showing you quite a few replays in this one because, well, in Ju-87 with the limited ammo capacity of 24 37mm shells, which is basically 12 presses of the left mouse button, you only get 12 chances to shoot at something. You really can't, you need to decide whether you're going to shoot at things or whether you're not going to shoot at things. But look at this. Yep, that was an M22. That was probably a kilometer plus away, and I just randomly pressed the trigger and get the kill there. That was so extremely satisfying and so extremely lucky that I don't even know how to explain how that happened. Now, these kinds of kills that you just saw when I sniped the M22 from a kilometer away with one shot, well, more exactly, two shots, don't happen very often, and for the simple fact that, well, the Ju-87 does only have 37mm cannons equipped, and 37mm cannons don't do a lot of damage, and especially when they're only armor-piercing shells, which means that when you're shooting at player tanks, especially at player tanks, you need to shoot for the crew compartment or for the engine or hope to hit ammo. And as I say that, you're going to be witnessing me getting another one-shot kill in the Kanonenvogel. Like I said, it's a very inconsistent beast. There is a Cromwell here trying to capture, and I just put one shot into him. For some reason the shells didn't register. I mean, it's probably a bug in the replay, and this also didn't happen. I didn't crash in the real match. Like, I'm not lying to you. I didn't crash. I'm a good pilot. Please believe me, I'm a very good pilot. So moving on from that very, very weird replay glitch, I mean, Gaijin, this can't be happening to your replays. I didn't crash in the game, I promise to you. Why would I lie to you? Anyhow, I'm going to be showing you some air-on-air action, and I mentioned a couple of times that the Ju-87 is very inconsistent with its cannons. Now, one of the things that it can do consistently is outmaneuver and even sometimes outturn very cocky fighters who think that you're just small fry that can easily take out of the bin and put in their mouths. And as this Tempest is going to learn, you don't mess with the Kanonenvogel. Now, you might have seen that IL-2 that come into the battlefield. We're going to be talking about him a little bit later, but let's just focus on this engagement. So, the Tempest does manage to use his speed and turn into me. And then he goes into a climb here, and now here is where he makes a horrible mistake. He goes into a climb and starts turning, which gives me the perfect silhouette of his plane. I pull the trigger and both of the shells hit, and he just goes up in flames. He was probably so frustrated, like, I got killed by Ju-87 and I'm in a bloody Tempest. But anyhow, like I said, let's switch over to that IL-2, because this little clip is not yet over. The theme of this whole video could easily be inconsistency, because what you will about to see is the definition of inconsistency. And since I'm not Kojima, I don't do themes, so let's just move on. But anyhow, this is that IL-2 that we just saw earlier in the clip before, and he just bombed a friendly tank, killed him, and now he's trying to regain some altitude. I am on his 6, but One of the things that you need to remember is that the IL-2 is a notoriously difficult aircraft to kill, so much that it was nicknamed the Flying Tank, because from the front this thing has so much armor on it that rifle caliber bullets can't do anything to it. But these are 37mm cannons. So he's going in a turn, he starts turning towards me. I thought he was going for head on. I put 2 shells into him and both of them connect. And at this point in time I'm already celebrating inside because I connected 2 37mm shells into a single engine fighter. Now he's on fire, but driven by my experience in simulator battles, I know that the plane isn't dead until he crashes. So after a couple of seconds he stops burning. And then I'm still on a 6, and after a couple of more seconds he stops smoking. What the actual hell just happened? How is he still alive? And how is he still even flying? But okay, I'm over it. I'm gonna get the kill here. But one of the things that you need to notice is that this is the end of the match. Now I tried to get a lead in here. I missed a couple of shots. I'm still on a 6, so I still have a very good opportunity to kill him, but I'm low on ammo. And this is where the match ends. Yes. Freaking IL-2, how did he survive that? That is so not cool. It took me some time to recover from the shock of that that match, and I haven't played the Ju-87 before this match for a couple of days. Now, this is a live recorded match, and I will not lie to you, the whole point of this video was to show you this one game. Because what is going to happen amused me to no end. Now, because this is recorded live, you will see that I'm using manual engine control on the Stuka, and if you're playing similar battles, and even if you're playing arcade, and well, not so much arcade, but realistic battles, I recommend that you learn how to use manual engine control. Because on the planes like the P-47, which is one of the popular planes to use manual engine controls on, and one of the planes that I will be engaging in this replay, when you use manual engine control, it's just close to cheating how good it is, and how much easier it is to fly that plane. And also on the Stuka, if you use manual engine control and keep your propeller pitch to around 85 to 90%, you can easily whip the plane indefinitely. But yeah, anyhow, the point of this video is not to show you that I can use manual engine control with the Stukas with relative efficiency. The point of this little replay here is to show you how this engagement turns out. So I'm flying towards the battlefield, and I notice to my right there is an enemy plane, and right away I notice it is a P-47. Now, one of the things that I love doing in the Stukas is fighting P-47s, because they're not very good at low altitude, and a lot of P-47 pilots aren't, in my opinion, very good pilots. You see a lot of very bad P-47 pilots, even in simulator battles. But anyhow, let's just keep in mind that the Stuka is a 1932 design introduced to the Luftwaffe in 1936. The P-47 is a 1941 design introduced to the Luftwaffe, introduced to the American Air Force in 1942. And the P-47M, which is the plane that I'm going to be engaging right now, is a 1944 redesign of the P-47. So there's almost a 10-year gap between these two planes, and one of them is superior to the other in almost any way, and that is the P-47. The P-47 can climb better, it's got almost double the top speed of the Stuka at high altitudes, but what it doesn't do well is fight at lower altitude. It doesn't have a very nice turning circle, and it doesn't have very good energy retention, and that's one of the things that I want to exploit in this engagement. But one of the things that you also need to remember is that the P-47, even at lower altitudes, has got much higher speed than the Stuka. And if this guy only just nose down or flew in a straight line for a couple of seconds, he would have easily shaken me off his 6, and then he could have proceeded to climb up in the stratosphere and do whatever he wants with me because I couldn't be able to follow him. But what happens in this engagement is just, just hilarious and mind-blowing, and reinforces every single stereotype that I've ever heard about bad American pilots. Now let me just cue up some music, because this is a very long engagement here. This is... I don't even know what to comment anymore here, but finally he's got the right idea. He starts diving to the deck, and if he just continued this dive, he would have been able to get away from me, no problem whatsoever. But no, he goes into a zoom climb and does the most weirdest maneuver ever. He starts trying to make me overshoot. He's in a P47, I'm in a JU87, and he's trying to make me overshoot. Now I'm down to 2 shells, so I'm going to wait for him to be completely level so I can shoot him and finish this. But as you might have seen from this video and from the other clips, I'm not a very good shot and I miss. But at this point in time, I'm like, just okay, let's just finish this. I'm going to ram him. I really don't give a shit anymore. So I get up close here. He's still trying to make me overshoot. I put on the web, I do everything. I just come close to him and I just nudge his tail a slight little bit. And I break my engine, and I think my engine is broken, but apparently it was not. It survived. And I broke his tail. And I made a flat spin. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, how you kill a P47 in a JU87. That's gotta be the weirdest thing I've ever done. I mean, I'm somehow able to fly still. Nothing is damaged on my plane. My engine is a little bit overheating, but manual engine control is going to take care of that. I even managed to land my plane properly, which is just so completely hilarious. But if that P47 had any brain in his head, if he just literally flew straight for a couple of seconds, or dived down to the deck and then flew straight for a couple of seconds, or done anything other than what he was doing, he could have easily get on my sticks and kill me. Because after all, I was in a JU87 and he was in a P47 Republic Thunderbolt. But anyhow, my name has been Soulfax, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.